Hey, and welcome back to the Brewed for Life podcast with your host, Dan Brusha. This will be episode number 7, and we're going to deal with some things that I think everybody can relate to, and that's the aspect of people and how we interact with each other and the different personalities and characteristics that each of us have that gets projected upon the rest of those that surround us. The reason why I want to talk about this is because, like I said, there's so many different types of people out there that it makes it hard for us to interact. And social media doesn't necessarily help with the interaction. And how we perceive people due to social media platforms doesn't necessarily translate into reality. So that's where I want to go with, this episode and kind of share some of my feelings and my thoughts about social media and how it relates to how people interact with each other in real life. Now, I don't want that to be mistaken and misunderstood that I hate social media. I am not a fan of it, but I am a fan of it when it comes to content, and people use it for advertising and showcasing their talents musically, artistically, athletically. I think for those attributes, social media is great. I think it's great for families to be able to stay connected to one another. But with that said, the other side of social media is all the followers and friends, and depending on what platform you're talking about, that's how they are labeled within that platform. And in today's society, when people interact with each other, they're like, oh, my friend and blah, 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 blah. Like, listen, here's where the gray area is and the things that I hate about social media. Just because you have a follower or a friend on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter or whatever it may be, that does not necessarily mean that individual is your friend. It is a great avenue to be able to meet people, but my thought process on this is that if you're going to be friends with somebody, a friend is somebody that you can call on the phone, somebody that you spend time around, somebody that you make plans to do things with, get together for a game night, dinner, anything face to face. That's how I classify my friends. Followers and internet friends, those are not your friends. People that you don't interact with on a regular basis, once a week, once a month, or some kind of a communication via phone or face-to-face or whatever. Now, I'll be fair, assuming that people live within a radius where those opportunities happen. Obviously, some families and friends move farther away, but with that said, you can still pick up the phone and call each other. You can still FaceTime each other. You can still text each other. If your whole relationship with an individual is based solely on your interactions through social media, you are not friends. That's how I feel about that. The other thing is sometimes as you go through life, you will meet people that enter your life for a variety of different reasons. And the people that truly integrate themselves in your life, truly make an effort to be in your life, and that's vice versa. It can't just be them, making the effort to do things, to call, to talk. It has to come from both sides. Those are genuine friends. Those are people that actually want to be a part of your life. Those are also the same people that will tell you the hard things that you don't want to hear. That branches off into another thing about friends. If you have a friend in your life that only tells you what you want to hear and isn't honest with you about what you're discussing, and it may be that you as the individual are wrong for something or handled something wrong, a true friend will tell you that, like, listen, I understand where you're coming from, but you fucked up. You handled that wrong. Because of how you handled it is why you got the result you have. So, if you want me to be a part of your pity party and the oh woe is me and and fuck this person because of what they did to you. I'm not going to be a part of any of that, because you are only going to get the honest answer from me. I am definitely a person that if you don't want to know what I really think, and you don't want to hear what I have to say, whether you're going to agree with it or not, you probably shouldn't ask. I always want to be true to myself, true to my friends, and be honest with those people. I don't want to put up this false front of who I am and what I believe and where I stand. True friends will want to be a part of that. True friends will want to know those things. They don't want the smoke and mirrors and the falsehoods. They want to know who you are as a person, as I expect out of my friends. The other side of friends is that sometimes you meet people within your life and they showcase themselves as one thing, and as time goes on, you start to learn about other aspects of your friends' lives, and you get more integrated with, your friends as different life things happen, and it either draws you closer together as friends or it draws you farther apart as friends, and that's just the natural course of things. Like I said, those people that want to be a part of your life and actually care and like you for who you are, and you return those things vice versa, those are true friends. The thing is that as time goes on and you start to learn more about other people, those things could make or break your relationship with different individuals. And I've had plenty of people in my life that at different points we hit a crossroad of where that friendship was going to go. And as I had talked previously about, I believe it was episode 2, when I had gotten myself into trouble and I hit a crossroad, and I was either going to continue the path that I was on or I was going to make a change. And when I decided to make a change, that's the crossroad where my friends at the time and my life no longer ran parallel. And at that point, I had a decision to do either what was right for me or continue to stay the course and try to figure it out on the other side. At that time, I decided that a change of course was necessary, that the path I was on was no longer good, and it was only going to head me into a darker place. My friends at that time chose not to be a part of that. Now, that was crossroads number 1. Later on in life, I got to meet some more people, and we got to be friends and do things together and whatever, and through that time, only 2 people made it out of that point in my life. 2 people that I have the highest level of respect for. Then, of course, as life goes on, you start mingling with a different course of people, and I, at that point, left that group of friends as my life progressed and their lives took different paths, and only one of those friends continues to, be in contact with me and vice versa on a regular basis. Later on, as, again, life kind of progresses, I had another group of friends, and I don't know, that just kind of dissolved. And to be fair, what really kind of started some of the friction stuff was, I don't know, falsehoods and pretending to be something that we weren't, and we kind of saw things, similarly politically, but I wasn't as extreme as them. I just didn't want to live in that constant state of just rhetoric. So I decided to remove myself from that. And that brings me to where I am now, where I have a very small group of friends. I enjoy the time that I spend with these people. Some of them I don't get to see that often because life, kind of gets in the way. But when I do see them, I don't take that time for granted, and I actually enjoy, catching up and seeing where things are and hearing about what the heck's going on in their lives. And I enjoy that. To kind of take it from here, there are people that you will become friends with that, like I said, who they are behind their closed doors outside of what you get to see on the friend side. When people hide that from you, it's tough to swallow. It's tough to hear, and it kind of puts you in a position where, what do I do at this point? Is this person a friend to the point where you need to pick up the phone and you need to call them and have a conversation with them about what you're hearing and what you think and how you feel, or is this a person that as in the past, like maybe you got to a crossroads and their direction is no longer your direction, and it's time to move on, that friendship has kind of run its course, and it's no longer going to be a positive one moving forward. So what do you do? And that's kind of where I'm at right now with a friend of mine, and I'm not real sure how to move forward on it. I will say that, some of the things that I have heard have been really heartbreaking and kind of tough to swallow from my standpoint. But I feel like it is definitely a time for us to take different paths. Now, I haven't made that decision, firmly, but it's definitely the way I'm leaning. I won't disclose all of the things that are a part of that decision-making ability because, one, it's not fair to air that kind of stuff out. But I will say that it's weighing heavily on me because of who I am as a person, and I thought this individual was very similar to me. And what I am hearing and starting to understand is that we are not the same people, that we are on different wavelengths and different paths as individuals, and that is, like I said, it's tough to swallow. That's where I'm at with my friend stuff. Now, on a general level, I think that friends on social media and followers and stuff like that is good, and it's good to interact with those people, but let's not mistake them as being, true friends. It is good to have people want to follow your content. It is good to have people be able to give you some insight on, what their thoughts and what their perception is, but they're not truly friends. They are more of acquaintances, kind of like, some people that you work with, and some of them you get close to and you spend time with, and other ones are just kind of there, and when they're gone, and it's not anything that you feel sad about when you do move on. It's just, like I said, it's just a natural course of things. The thing that I really want to address when it comes to followers and friends on social media is that social media has allowed people to showcase who they are as a person from wherever it is they see themselves as an individual. So you can be whoever you want to be when it comes to the internet and social media platforms and whatever, and the person that you project and you put out there is either somebody that you wish you could be as a person because you struggle with, I don't know, maybe like anxiety, depression, you don't have a lot of self-confidence, maybe you have some like social disorders where you're not good around people, and you get a little nervous and scared. And then there's other people that love the attention, and they project whatever they want on their social media because they want all of the comments, the followers, the likes, and all of this other stuff, and they live their lives for that. I am not one of those people. I want people to follow my beer page, and I want people to follow my podcast because they are either genuinely interested in what I have to say, or they relate heavily to the things that I am talking about or have talked about. I want people to comment, either, say, hey, listen, your podcast sucks, and we would rather listen to a fart in the wind than listen to your podcast. But that's all feedback, and I'm okay with that kind of stuff. Some people are not. Some people just, they only want to hear the positive stuff. They get, highly upset when somebody makes like a negative comment or says something that is not what they want to hear. And that's their own thing. I don't care about any of that. I've never cared about any of that. And when you put yourself out to the world on a social media platform, a podcast, or any of these kind of things, you have to go into it knowing that you are opening the door to criticism. You are opening the door to somebody either liking or disliking and having positive things to say and negative things to say. You're opening the door for that. So if you're not aware or you're not comfortable or you are not capable of hearing the positive and the negatives, you probably shouldn't be putting stuff out for people to hear. That's the negative part of the social media, is that it opens the door for that. And let's be honest, that just because somebody says something negative and you don't like what it is being said about your content, your podcast, or whatever the case may be, from one of your followers, one of your, I'm going to air quote, friends on these social media platforms, too bad. You open the door for that kind of criticism. Now, I'm not saying it's right, because I am very anti-keyboard cowboy nonsense. Like, I'm very much somebody that if you have something negative to say to me, just say it. But say what you mean. Don't just be nasty, because there are plenty of people in this world that, one, hang on every comment and every single criticism that they have. There are people that will take it, like me, to be better at what it is that I do, because I do enjoy doing this. And then there are people that are doing it just to stir the pot, to just be malicious. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell who is who, but again, when you put yourself out on a public platform like any social media or any Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify, any of these other things, like, you are opening the door to criticism. Criticism helps you grow. It helps you fix. It helps you address. It helps you be better. Criticism isn't always just about being hurt. Sometimes it's a reality. Like, I'll be the first one to say that sometimes when I sit back and I listen to some of my podcasts, I'm like, dude, you are monotone. Maybe you need to really readdress what you're doing, or maybe you need to bring more guests and stuff on to be able to kind of liven up your podcast a little bit. Because, yeah, sometimes I do sound monotone, but it really depends on what my topic is. But with that said, I don't mind hearing the negativity. I don't mind hearing the positives. I actually want the feedback, good, bad, indifferent. I want that stuff. I want it from those people that know me personally and follow the podcast. I want it from people who don't know me personally and follow the podcast. I want to hear it all, because I do enjoy doing this, and I want to put out stuff that people want to hear, people want to follow, people are excited to be able to, hear what's coming up in the next episode. I want people to actually enjoy listening to this, and your insight helps that. Like I said, negative, positive, whatever it is, just, lay it on me. I think that starts with being true about those comments. If you think that you're going to make some belligerent, half-assed comment and dig into me, and that I'm going to take it personally and start, commenting back, like, I'll comment back to the things that are helpful, comments that I think are genuine. But I'm not going to go back and forth into some world war of words through the internet. That's just, I'm not going to do it. I don't feel like it's necessary, and I'm not going to play into that game. Please, as you listen to these different episodes and as this podcast, progresses, please don't hesitate to either leave a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcast, or you could always, hit me up at Brewed for Life Podcast on Instagram. You could Also, jump on, follow the homebrew page, which is Baines Brewing on Instagram. I do not have any Facebook because, well, frankly, I had it at one point, and I don't really care how many times a day people eat or wipe their ass, or how angry they are that it's snowing or raining or any of that kind of nonsense. I really don't care. And as you heard earlier, I try to stay close to the people that I am closest with. So that means phone conversations, text, FaceTimes, actual things that keep you connected as human beings, not some wannabe relationship through the internet. Please, I'm looking for, just some general feedback. Like I said, episode 7, an opportunity for you guys to kind of jump in and say what's on your mind. Let me know what your thoughts and stuff are. This one's going to be a little short, but we'll put some stuff together and drop another episode, 2 more episodes next week. So hit me up, let me know what you think. Thanks for following, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.